Supergirl is one of the worst comic book movies ever, apparently. Critics hated it and some people are dragging it through the mud online. And I disagree with the hate. Is it a bad movie? No, it's good. It isn't outrageously special, but it's not offensively bad. It's just good in a time where you can't just be good. Especially on the internet where the algorithm forces everyone to act in extremes to get clicks. If you're new here, hi, my name is Matt. I make videos analyzing movies, games, TV shows, and pop culture. If you enjoy this video and want to see others like it, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps out a micro channel like mine. And if you want a spoiler discussion on Supergirl, feel free to hype and comment. Millie Alcock is Supergirl. She is her. The DCU is 3 for 3 when it comes to casting leads. Or 2 for 2. Peacemaker starting out as DCEU makes it kind of weird. I read Woman of Tomorrow last year and she perfectly captures Kara from the comic. There are moments and lines from the comic that aren't in the movie that I can imagine her nailing. I don't think there was a better choice for this version of the character. I'm excited to see more of her in the DCU, especially after the arc she goes on in this movie. And that's what I like most about Supergirl. She really grows as a character in a way I feel like most superhero movies don't do after movie 1. It's entertaining seeing how she goes from where she is at the beginning of the movie to the end of it. During the first act, I was thinking about the critics score and I was kind of confused because I was having fun. Later parts were missing some things that I wish they did, but the first hour is very close to what I wanted out of this movie. That's my only real issue with Kara's arc. I would have liked her to go through more to bolster the emotional moments. A part of me thinks I'm only saying that because I read the comic and it has the time to dive into a character more before going into the same emotional moments. It's not that it's bad here, I just wanted more. Ultimately, I think that's one of the main things holding this movie back for me. I would have liked 15, maybe 20 more minutes. Give us more of her with the Kryptonians, and more of the horrors that the Brigands are doing across the galaxy, to really show how all of this is affecting her and Ruthie. That's operating in a perfect world where there are no constraints put on a movie. But overall, I still really liked what they did with Kara here. Her and Ruthie carry the movie, and both of their actresses deserve a lot of credit for it. Between the two of them, they have under 30 credits. Ruthie's performance is also a perfect translation of the comic. When she first meets Kara and she's giving her speech about revenge, it feels like reading the comic again. Their dynamic is great and they play off of each other very well. I really liked watching Kara do her best to prevent Ruthie from falling down the same depression that she did. Which is why, and this might be my most controversial take in this video, I didn't hate the needle drop that so many people are complaining about. It's kind of a perfect analog for this movie. Is it the best? No. Is it the worst? No, unless we're going to pretend that movies never do slower, calmer songs during a slow-mo action scene. When I first heard the song, my initial response was, that's it? Not because I was disappointed in the movie, but because I was surprised that this is what everybody was hating on. Thematically, I think this version of the song works very well. This movie is about two people processing their grief. Kara is trying to help Ruthie while actively avoiding processing hers. Fun dynamic. It's what I love about both versions of this story. Clark is trying to help Kara in the scenes that he's in. I'm assuming that old iPod she has is a hand-me-down from him, loaded with songs that he thinks would help her because that's something Superman would do. And the middle is an important song to Clark. How do I know this? Last year, to promote Superman, James Gunn made playlists for all of the characters, including Clark, and the leading song on Clark's playlist was The Middle. I think the original version, which is 100% on that iPod, is Clark reaching out to Kara. It's going to take some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. The original is also sung by a man speaking to a girl, which is why I disagree that they should have used the original song. Using a slower version sung by a woman changes the context in an interesting way. Now it's Kara on the very same ride telling it to Ruthie. It's going to take some time. Little girl, you're in the middle of the ride. She knows how self-destructive grief can be. Kara is trying to teach Ruthie the very same lesson that she hasn't fully learned yet from her cousin. Further proving that point, something that I found out after writing this section about the song, the first time the chorus comes up, it's going to take some time, you're in the middle of the ride. Reading as Kara telling that to herself. After that, every other time the chorus pops up, It's the full line. Reading as Kara now speaking to Ruthie. That's why I'm happy they went with a slower version of the song sung by a woman. It's coming from a sadder place, especially with that line change in the beginning. It's someone who's going through what the girl in the song is going through and trying to empathize with them, instead of someone else who isn't experiencing it trying to motivate them. If you don't like that version of the song and it ruins the scene for you, I get it. Not liking the needle drop can give you the ick for a scene, but thematically it works very well. And I don't think there's a cover out there that would have gotten the job done like this one. Like I said earlier, that whole song fiasco was kind of the perfect analogy for this movie, which is why I spent so much time on it. The scene in the movie could have been executed better, but that doesn't mean it was bad. But it does with Kara and Ruthie's character is very good. When you look away from those two though, it kind of hurts the movie, making the whole thing just good overall. And a lot are acting like it's the worst thing ever when it's really not. Outside of those two, David Cornsweet is the only thing that I really loved. In case you missed how perfect he is as Superman, this movie reinforces it. The small handful of times him and Kara talk make me very excited for Man of Tomorrow, especially by the credits. But sadly, that's where the stuff I love ends. And what we're left with ranges from fine to bland. Krem from the Yellow Hills is a serviceable villain. He's only really here to be evil and do crime to support Kara and Ruthie's arcs. He isn't one of the worst comic book movie villains ever. He's far from it. It's actually kind of funny how many comic book movies have bad villains. I'd say like half of the MCU villains are not as good as him. Krem might be underdeveloped, but when he's on screen, he's just so evil, but like having such a good time. I kind of enjoyed it. He reaches the bare minimum requirement for me to enjoy a villain. If they did spend more time developing his character and motivations, it would have taken away from the core of the film, and I wouldn't have wanted that. If they were to have developed him more, it should have been done in a way that would have contributed to Kara's and Ruthie's arcs. Lobo was very fun in the movie. Jason Momoa has been waiting to play this character, and it comes across in his performance. He is great, but is ultimately underused. There's a great dichotomy between Lobo and Kara, where one is grieving the loss of her planet, and the other one killed everyone on his planet. Just cuz. And they never really cover that. His perspective being the exact opposite of Kara should have been covered more in relation to Ruthie. He could have been a force pulling them to the dark side that they reject. Instead, he's kind of just around, has a few fun fights, then leaves, which I guess is a very Lobo thing to do. Visually, the movie is kind of disappointing. It's fine in the first bit, but gets worse as the movie goes on. I think it has its color palette to draw emphasis on the sunlight, but they could have thrown in some more color. The comic might have some of the best visuals that I will ever see in a comic book, to the point when I saw the first trailer, liked what was in it, but saw how flat the visuals were, I got kind of worried. I saw one creator, Jay Stoobs, say that they should have hired the director of Birds of Prey, Kathy Yan, to direct this movie. After watching the trailer for it, I'm inclined to agree. It looks like it has more color and better action too. I think a lot of people wouldn't hate Krem of the Yellow Hills so much if he had a really good fight scene. He does get one really cool fight moment, but that's really about it. And it's in a fight scene that could have been better. That one in the middle is the worst fight in the movie. At times, it was kind of hard to tell what was going on. They tried to make it look like it was one shot, but you can tell when they cut. The CG could have been better, but we're at a point in time where CG artists are underpaid and overworked. There's so much work that the entire film industry needs to do before we can consistently get quality CG. Like, does Crypto look worse here than he did in Superman, or am I tripping? After the movie came out, I saw a lot of people blaming the script the most. I honestly think the direction, making the color palette look flat, or having whatever action sometimes, holds it back more. Because even if the movie did end up having the dynamic I wanted out of Lobo with Kara, or some scenes from the comic that weren't in it, that wouldn't fix the color palette or the fights. The one thing I will definitely give the director credit for is being able to get the best performances out of the cast. I don't think any of the headliners have a bad performance. But the thing that really holds this movie back for me, that I've been kind of dancing around or beside this whole time, is that this comic is so good. Oh my god, guys, Woman of Tomorrow is a fantastic comic. To the point that I don't think a movie could have ever been better than it. At best, it could have been on par with the comic, but in a medium that I like more. At worst, they could have messed everything up, especially Kara and Ruthie. I don't want to go into full detail about it because it would spoil the comic and the movie. If you want me to do a follow-up video talking about it, let me know in the comments. But if you felt the movie was missing something, read Woman of Tomorrow. If you enjoyed the movie, read Woman of Tomorrow. Even if you hated it, good news. There is a perfect version of this story out there. It's called Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Go read it. If you're going to take anything away from this video, it's that this movie is not as bad as people are saying. It's just pretty good. And go read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. I've been seeing a lot of comparison between Supergirl and the early MCU movies, saying that after Iron Man we got a few stinkers in a row, so we shouldn't all be doom and gloom about this one. And while Supergirl isn't the best movie, it's still way better than the likes of the Hulk and Iron Man 2. So I feel the need to push back on that take a bit. I personally think Supergirl is way closer to the quality of Iron Man 1 than it is to every other Phase 1 MCU movie, excluding the Avengers. Hell, scrolling through all 34 MCU movies I've seen, I'd say I like Supergirl more than about 18 of them. It's on par with about 6, and I liked it less than 10 of them. Just going off of my memory, because it has been a while since I watched some of the really bad ones, due to them being really bad, Supergirl is a solid middle-of-the-road MCU movie, because it actually has a character arc at the core of it that's good. But nah, let's just throw the whole movie out because a single needle drop was a little weird. When at this point in the MCU, I feel very apathetic towards the movies. There is nothing in The Incredible Hulk that is on par with anything in this, so why are we acting like they're on the same level because they're not as good as the movies that came before them? I remember coming out a lot of the early to mid MCU movies as a teen feeling kinda empty. It was just like whatever movies that always left me wanting more. I came out of Supergirl also wishing it had more quality to it, but what I liked here and what this movie does right, I loved. Hell, Kara's arc is better than what we get in most superhero movies. I really don't want to turn this into a whole DCU versus MCU thing. The only reason why I went on that tangent is because it's something I saw a lot of people say online. There's parts of this movie that I really love, but there's so much else holding it back that the movie is like a 7.5. It really depends if I was thinking about the stuff that I was disappointed in or the stuff that I really liked. And the stuff that I liked is the very core of this movie. The good pulls up the bad, exposing it to the light, causing the bad to drag the film down with it, which causes the good to be the light in the dark, pulling the movie back up again. This will be an ever-shifting score in my head, but I will gladly take something interestingly flawed than something incredibly bland. It's just fine in an age where being pretty good is the worst thing ever. It might not be uplifting me like Superman did last year, but based off of posts I've seen from parents online, it's reaching kids exactly like Superman did. That's why I think the DCU is going to persist. Even if Kara is sadly failing at the box office, I think she is reaching her audience. Starting from like Sunday, I was starting to see a lot of posts online of people saying that this movie is nowhere near as bad as people are making it out to be. History will be kind to this movie, especially after kids who were inspired by these two movies grow up and start talking about them on the internet. Again, it's not perfect, like the comic, but it's good. And luckily, the good is the core characters and arcs in this movie, instead of a few fight scenes that are realistically just keys jingling in front of your face to make sure you don't fall asleep. I just wish it was as good as the comic. Go read Woman of Tomorrow. But before you do that, let me know how you felt about the movie down below and if you would want a spoiler discussion. If you like this video and want to see me talk about other DC comics, feel free to subscribe. I have videos on Superman and Season 2 of Peacemaker, click here for a playlist, and I will be doing weekly videos on Lanterns like I did with you. And I'll also do a video on Clayface when that drops. Now that I think about it, it's really funny that the first two DCU movies did a really good job of inspiring kids, at least from what I can tell, seeing what parents post online. And then the next movie is going to be an R-rated body horror. Hell yeah, that's kind of funny. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.